Hi, welcome. Good morning. I'm excited to do this troubleshooting class where we're going to be talking about under eye bags. But before we even do that, let's have a little discussion, if you don't mind, about what's the difference between under eye darkness and under eye bags. Are they the same thing? And can you use makeup to help with either of those? And so welcome. Feel free. Let's chat about it just for a few minutes. So I just want to kind of talk first about, so under eye darkness. I don't have a ton of it, but I have a little bit of blue purple here and a little bit here. Under eye darkness is a physical thing. It's actually sometimes, it's really excess pigmentation. It can look like blue, it can look purple, it can look dark brown, it can look grayish, so under eye darkness is actual pigmentation in our skin. So it is a physical trait. It's part of our face, it's part of our skin. But under eye bags are more of a physical puffiness or a bag underneath our eye. Usually under eye bags are caused by aging. Sometimes under eye puffiness could be an inflammation or an allergy, but if it doesn't subside and go away, then an under eye bag is usually a physical part of your body. It's saggy skin. It's actually a lot of times our face is trying to help us out by taking fat from our upper eyelids and putting it down here in our lower eyelids. So to fill in, it's muscle, it's tissue, it's fat, it's skin, it's physical, right? It's part of our faces. So what can we do about that? How can we use makeup to help with that? So dark circles, let's talk about those really quick because we always want to address the dark pigmentation first. If you have any type of pigmentation underneath your eyes, you want to address that first. Good morning. Yes. So if you have that, what you want to use is a color corrector or a peachy orange. You may call it a color correcting concealer. This happens to be a cream makeup. This is a shade called Mango. It's a little peachy orange. And what I suggest is that you color correct by adding a bit of that color first to areas of discoloration, excess pigmentation. So I'm going to take a little flat brush and I'm going to just lightly tap because this is very pigmented. And I suggest that no matter what products you are using, that you use a small amount underneath the eyes first. Just test out a small amount, touching just the area where you have that discoloration. Now, for some of us, it might be a whole section. For myself, it's kind of right in here and this outer corner. That seems to be an area that a lot of us get that pigmentation. So you just want to address that first. What I'm going to do, tap that on, that peachy color, and I'm going to take my finger. The warmth of that finger, if you're using cream, and even if you're not, if you're using like a liquid color corrector, use your finger to tap and to just press that on the actual discoloration, okay? So this is your color correcting. This is the first step. And a lot of us have been taught, or I was anyway, I thought that I just would go right in with a really light color, like a concealer, like a really bright concealer, and just load that all up underneath my eye. I remember going in, years ago, my sister took me to a Sephora. I had never been in one. In Kansas. And I went there and I was like, okay. I've never been in one of these stores before because I live in Northern Idaho where we just got an Ulta like 5 years ago. I mean, we don't even barely have a mall. So I went in there and I said, I want an under eye concealer. And she gave me a tube about this shade. And she said, oh, you put that underneath your eye. Okay. So I'm this color and I went home and I did that and I was just like, ooh. That doesn't quite work. So you want to color correct or camouflage or address under eye discoloration first, okay? Because that's really what that is. It's pigmentation, and we can address that with makeup. Under eye bags, we can't make them go away with makeup. Under eye bags are, like we talked about, they are actual physical tissue, okay? And what an under eye bag is doing that probably bothers a lot of us is it's casting a shadow or hollowing out underneath. So the bag is puffing out because there's tissue and fattiness. And then right here, we end up with these what we are calling circles, but it's really the indentation or the shadow cast by that. Okay, let's block this little gal right here who's using really rudeness. Let me block her really quick. Can you guys help me? I can do this. Hang on just a second. We're going to report. Let's just block her. Who cares about reporting? We're just going to block. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so those of you who do care, I'll just keep going. All right, so we've done that. Now what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and we're going to address the actual indentation or the shadow that's causing it to look like we have under eye circles, right? Okay, so when we're doing that, if we're not going to go get Botox or fillers or plastic surgery or anything like that, you know, we can try to lessen the appearance of it by using makeup. And so what I like to do is use a concealer. Like this would be the color of that concealer shade I got in the tube. This happens to be, again, a cream one. I'm going to be using today, if you are a Seint user, if you use these products or want to, this shade is Linen, and it's much brighter than I normally would use, but I want you to really be able to see it on camera. Sometimes it's hard to see. So you want to take a very small brush. I use this flat brush to tap on the color corrector. Now I'm going to address, by tipping down, the indentations underneath my eyes. So I'm going to take a smaller brush, tap in again lightly, okay, use a small brush, and tip your head down. If I tip my chin down, if I go like this, if I walked around like this, it doesn't look like I have too bad of under eyes, right? Under eye creases, unless I go like this. But if I tip down, I can see them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this lighter color right in the crease, right in the trough, they call it, that hollowing. Okay, keep your eye tip down and look, you know, tip up and get the light to help you. It really helps to have a big magnifying mirror in front of you, and it also helps to be in front of natural light. I'm sitting in front of my bedroom window here, so let's go ahead. Oh, I should have done a before. I'll post a before and after. So where else? Let's see. Kind of, you can also put them in your, we're just going to go in your laugh lines, but I also have these indentations that kind of come down a little bit farther. I don't know if you can see right here. Can you see that right there? And again, I think it's just hollowing of my collagen, hollowing out of my tissue as I'm aging. You know, you lose tissue, you lose volume in your temples, obviously here underneath your eyes. So I'm going to put a little bit in that line as well, because they really come down. I call them my puppy dog eyes, my bulldog eyes. So they come down a bit. All right. So we've addressed that. We can just start with a little bit like that. We want to be careful that we're only putting it in the actual creases or the trough, okay, where that shadow and that darkness is. And what we're doing is we're just going to use makeup, the magic of makeup, to lessen the appearance, to help make it look a little bit more smooth, not as a distinct shadow. And I think already just by putting that line in there, it's already kind of taking away. Let me go right here. I think I always kind of not get, of course, I got to have I wish I had my magnifying mirror. I forgot to bring it in my bedroom here. All right, so what we're going to do is take our finger again, just the warmth of your finger. You can also use the other side of that small brush, but I'm just going to start here by just taking my finger and warming it up. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to hold it over, and I want to gently press and tap that color, trying to keep it mostly in that trough or those areas, okay? Now my skin, when I tap and touch my skin, it tends to turn red. So once it calms down, this will probably look a little bit better, but even just touching my face, it makes it turn red. So funny how that happens. Okay, so we're starting to press it in and pull forward some of those. Look at that. Now they're still there. It's still a physical bag, but it's helping to lessen the appearance of that. It's helping to give a little bit more of a smoother look. The bag is still there. We can't make bags go away with makeup, but we can play with makeup and experiment with makeup by pulling forward, by using light and dark, okay? So I kind of clean this brush off just on the back of my hand, but I'm gonna take the little flat clean end of this brush now, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I would have done if you don't wanna do it with your finger. Do it with a flat brush like this. And you're just pressing that in. You can also use a makeup sponge, but I think, you know, ignore my redness around my nose, but that really does help. So let's look over here. I don't know why I'm going to obsess about that redness on my nose. So I'm going to take some of my color corrector, my camo shade, and lighten up my nose there. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take the flat end of the brush instead of your finger, because some people don't want to touch their face. That's fine. It's probably a good thing. If you do touch your face with your fingers, make sure you washing them, obviously. But you know, around your eye, it's important to be very gentle. It's important to have clean products. It's important to have clean brushes, clean fingers. You know, you're dealing with your eyes. Okay, there we go. So we're pressing, kind of just trying to press it into there, and then step back and evaluate a little bit. You know, I think that really helped. It's just kind of brightened up. I don't notice. I mean, they're still there. That's okay. That's part of my face. And if I go like this, squinching my eyes, you know, they're still there. But it helps, I think, just to even that out. Now, another thing we can do is when we're done with that is we can actually take like a mid-tone, one of your makeup shades that's closest to your skin tone, and just lightly with the brush, just lightly tap over, just a little bit, and then just lightly press a bit, just to kind of, not a ton, this is barely any. This is just kind of melding the color corrector shade. If it looked a little bit too orange, there you go. There you go. I want to know what you think. I want to know, what are you, let's talk about it. What do you struggle with? What do you do for your under eye bags and your under eye darkness? I would love for anybody to share with us or ask any questions. Let me know if this was helpful. I see lots of you gals on here. Thank you so much for being here. But yeah, tell me if this was helpful. I know it was pretty quick. While I'm waiting, I know there's always a delay if anybody has any questions or wants to know more about the product that I'm using. This is cream. It's highly pigmented. It's cream foundation shades. We call them highlights. They come in lots of different shades, lots of different colors. And the nice thing is that depending on what I need on my face where, I always have a shade that's going to work. Unfortunately, I don't do anything, darn it. That's okay, Rosie. That's okay. Yeah, if you prefer not to, guess what? Don't apologize, because again, it's part of our faces. It's genetic, it's aging, it's who we are. And you know, sometimes we don't have to, but if it bothers you, and you want to experiment with it, you sure can. Oh, thanks, Nana. And yes, thanks, gals. Okay, let me see here. Okay, Tam Clem, recommend a color corrector. So I use Seint cream makeup. I am a makeup enthusiast who turned to Seint about 4 years ago when I was in my early 50s. I'm now 56. And I started using this cream makeup, and then I wanted to sell it and teach it and help women my age and all ages to learn how to use this makeup. So this color that I use to color correct, and I recommend for almost all my clients under eye discoloration, pigmentation, is called Mango. And you can always comment here, Tam Clem, if you want a link to just try this one shade. It's really pigmented. It does have you can just get a one shade. It comes with a slide-on lid. You can slide that off and just tap in like I showed you with the brush, and just use that to color correct. You can also use this shade. I love to use this shade for sunspots, age spots, if I have purple, broken capillaries. So, you know, anywhere where you just need that extra color correcting. Again, every time I touch my face, I turn red. That's just part of it. Sensitive skin. And it is great for sensitive skin. So that's what this is. And this shade I recommend is called Mango, because it's that peachy orange shade that really helps with color correcting and or concealing. Yes. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much. Aw, thank you. Learning new tips, keep smiling. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Anything, sorry, missed it. If something quick, that's okay. Go ahead and you can, I'll save this. I'll save it. It'll be on those little squares on my feed, and you can always go back and rewatch. feel free to message me there. Okay, yep, you bet. Okay, so also, since we have a few minutes and I like to keep these about 30 minutes or less. Where else could we do this? Where else do we have lines on our face? Where else do we have indentations? What's this? Right? So all this is an indentation causing a shadow, the puffiness of my cheeks, my little chubby cheeks, causing a line, a shadow. So again, let's take a little bit of a color. I think down here I won't use as bright of a color. I'll go back to one that's maybe 2 or 3 shades lighter than my main skin tone. Again, going into the actual folds, and you have to, even if you have to make weird faces, find those indentations. I'm really concentrating. Can you hear me breathing? All right, here we go. There they are. Look like whiskers. All right, in those indentations right along here. And then I'm going to take again that flat end of that brush and smooth out, press this color in. Pressing it into that indentation. And then I again like to take just my bigger brush just to tap over and just to softly merge them out. So, still there, not as deep, not as dark, right? Still there, just lessening distractions. And if they don't bother you, don't bother, right? If something doesn't bother you, don't bother. Don't get caught up in, oh, I should be using this serum or this under eye cream or do this or that. You don't have to. If it doesn't bother you, don't bother with it. Leave it alone, So, but for those of you, if it does bother you, and if you find yourself every time you put on your makeup and you're done and you're like, oh, if I just didn't have that darkness and if I just didn't have that, then play and ask questions and learn. That's what I do. And that's what I hope I can share with you here on my feed and my page, because I really enjoy it. Well, thank you so much. If I missed any questions, thank you, Rosie. You're so great. I'm so glad you learned things, and I love learning as well. I learned from all of you. I learned from my customers. I learned from other Seint artists who do this. So again, we shouldn't stop learning. And if you love makeup, play with it, because really that's all we're doing is experimenting and playing, because my face may look like this today. Couple days later I might look totally different because I've got maybe got a sun accidentally, a little bit too much sun, or big old pimple, whatever. So just play with your makeup, have fun with it, and remember, at the end of the day, you can wash it off. Actually, you can wash it off. You can try something, play with it, and wash it off right then. Because I always what else is really good advice that I got from someone is, when you're playing with your makeup or experimenting, don't experiment and play 10 minutes before you have to head out the door to work, or 15 minutes before you have to go to church. Oh, you know what I mean? Don't do it then, because then you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to, if it doesn't look right, you're going to be like, I can't stand this. I don't like my face. I don't like this. Well, don't do it then. Do it when you are in the mood to be creative, to play, to experiment, and be kind with yourself and be kind with your face, because it's your face. All right. So, well, I hope this was helpful. I will save this, and I would love for you to reach out to me if you have questions later. You can always message me. If this makeup is something that you want to know more about, then make sure you message me and ask me about it, and I can help you. Well, thank you, Patsy. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love what I get to do every day, and I love the community that I have here on Instagram. I love it. It's just so great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Well, have a great day, and I hope we can chat later. So hit me up in my messages, and I'm happy to help, and we can chat. Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.